In fact, this is what we are going to see it now. Our thoughts are parts of the immense machine. You see, that lifeless energy, that machinery which has brought up all this thing, we are the product of that machinery only, you see, thought. Machine. Our pondering is but a freak of matter's law. So actually we are governed by law of matter, completely. Our consciousness, our awareness is the product of that lifeless energy. We are the product of that energy. Our pondering is but a freak of matter's law. Of soul or spirit, we have now no need. Why do you want soul? Why do you want God? Energy is given to you, and energy is working out everything for you. The base is energy. It is energy which will produce matter. It is energy which will produce life. It is energy which will produce awareness, consciousness, you see. So therefore you don't need soul or spirit at all, you see. It is working by itself, mechanical. That's the machinery. The mechanical view, the mechanistic view, materialistic view is what he is forcing here, you see. Of soul or spirit we have now known it. Matter is admirable reality. Everything is based. So this is a very strong case of a materialist philosophy. Very strong. Matter is the admirable reality. Matter, Rocky, is at anapel. Mere rai, pirik, herbal, pirik, riya. I am liti, pirik. That is how the line scans, you see. Materialism, but matter is the admirable reality. So the materialist will say, that's all, I don't need anything else. I don't need your God or spirit or soul, nothing. It is working out itself, you see. So this is the strong case for the materialist, you see. Matter is the admirable reality. The patent, unescapable miracle. That's the, you cannot escape this miracle. That matter is producing all these things. You cannot escape this. The heart, truth of thing, simple, eternal, soul, matter is the ultimate reality. That is the hard thing. That is the truth. That is as simple as that, eternal soul. Now he says, matter is the admirable. In fact, here you have got complete description of materialist stand. Complete description. And reason is based on that kind of a thing. And ultimately, where is it coming from? From lifeless energy, which is the head of death, sitting on necessity. Sitting on necessity and doing all those things, you see. The patent, unescapable miracle. Now, this is a very the different kind of unescapable. He says unescapable. It is not inescapable, it is unescapable. There is a slight difference between the two, unescapable and inescapable. Inescapable means you just cannot avoid. You just cannot avoid. Inescapable, you see. Unescapable, well, it can be escaped, you see. It means that it can be escaped. Miracle, unescapable. The word unescapable with this negative unescapable, this is the only time it appears in Savitri, only one, unescapable. Whereas inescapable appears 5 times in Savitri. Inescapable appears 5 times. Unescapable, this is the only occurrence in the entire Savitri. I got a list of all those things. Unescapable, that cannot be escaped, cannot be avoided. Inescapable, unable to be avoided. Inescapable, unable to be avoided, evaded, escaped. Inescapable appears at 4.8, 43.13, 72.6, 114.17 and 137.55. 4.8, 43.13, 72.6, 114.17, 137.55. So you have got 5 occurrences of inescapable in the entire Savitri. Unescapable, this is the only occurrence. 68.73. A suicidal rash expenditure, creating the world by a mystery of self-loss. Suicidal rash expenditure. Rash expenditure. What is the rash expenditure? That you are creating a world by self-loss. Self-loss is creating a world, and that creation is a suicidal rash expenditure. Suicidal because you are going to really meet death. You are going to meet zero, nothing, void. Self-loss. The divine has lost himself. It got so much self-absorbed into itself that it lost its own awareness. That is the self-loss. And that is kind of suicidal because you have lost everything of your own. Complete awareness. The being has become non-being, completely non-being, without any awareness. That is the self-loss. That is self-loss. Creating the world. Now it is out of that non-being that a world is being created. That is the starting of the becoming. That's the becoming. The process of evolution is with that becoming. Evolutionary process starts with creating the world by mystery of self-loss. So, self-loss is a process of involution. Being turning into non-being. That is involution. From non-being, the whole process starts, and that we call it becoming. The evolution. A suicidal rash expenditure, creating the world by a mystery of self-loss, has poured a scattered work of empty space. Well, that is what happened now. Late shall the self-disintegrating force, the self-loss, that force which has got the self completely, contract the immense expansion it has made. Then end this mighty and unmeaning toil. The void is left bare, vacant as before. This is what happened after this ultimately. Contract the immense expansion it has made. It, the self-loss, has poured its scattered world. Then end the mighty and unmeaning toil. The void is left bare. So, there is nothing in the void and all in the process. Vacant as before. This is quite a heavy paragraph on the metaphysics of things. Late shall the self-disintegrating force. Late shall, late shall the self-disintegrating force. Late shall, Trocky, the self, I am. This end, I am. Greeting, Pirik, force, I am. Contract the immense expansion it has made. Death's head, leading to this self-disintegration. How has that self-disintegration happened? Because it is on the head of death, life energy, let's say. Death's head, leading to the self-disintegration. Death's head on the body of necessity. That is what we are saying here. It is that which has led to disintegrating force. You see, this thought reduces everything. So, it is because death's head is on the body of necessity. Death's head leading to this self-disintegration. That is the whole purpose of idea of death. Disintegration. Death's head leading to the self-disintegration. They shall the self-disintegrating force contract the immense expansion it has made. And ultimately what will happen? Death said on the body of necessity, the thought reduces everything to naught because it is disintegration. It becomes zero, not nothing. Ultimately, nothing, you see. And the void is left bare, vacant as before. The disintegrating force is there, it is pushing. Means the whole purpose of death is what? What is there death for? Death purpose, it is standing there to reduce everything by disintegration to zero. To take back to void. Death is pushing everything back to the void. So, if you are trying to think of evolution and all that thing, death comes as an agent which will oppose that thing. Because death will not allow you to go forward. Death will try to take you back to the void. And everything becomes a zero then. That is the idea of disintegrating force. Death's head means that, sitting on necessity. Late self-disintegrating force. Contract the immense expansion it has made. So, all that evolution which has taken place, all that becoming which has happened and all that thing, death is there to take you back to zero, to the void. The void is left bare. Something had started coming out from the void, then it has gone back to the void, and therefore there is nothing now there. Vacant as before. As before, what does that mean? As before. It means that out of that void, by that lifeless energy, something has started happening, but then death is sitting there and taking you back to the void, and therefore as before, you see. So that's the role of death, you see. Which is a very, very terrible role, that the purpose of death is there to take you back to the void. Back to the void. In fact, that is what we see in Savitri later on, you see. In the case of Savitri, Savitri is fighting with death and nothing holds him back. So he disappears into the void finally himself. And then Savitri chases him through the void, and what does she see behind it? She sees the Supreme Himself who is hiding behind the void. She is the Supreme Himself who is hiding behind that void, you see, at that point, you see. Then and this mighty and late shall the self-indicating force contract the immense expansion. All that evolution which has taken place, it will go back to zero. The void is left bare, thus vindicated, crowned. The grand new thought explained the world and mastered all its laws. That everything will be disintegration, that is the new thought. Mastered all its laws. Touched the dumb roots, woke with tremendous powers. Yes, it did. It woke tremendous powers. It bound to service the unconscious jinn. They will do whatever you like. You ask for a jinn to build me a palace, he will immediately build a palace for you. And you have to keep on keeping him engaged. If you don't keep him engaged, he will swallow you up also. Completely. Then the story is that jinn will do everything for you in no time. You want this, you want that, it will do absolutely no time at all, you see. And then ultimately he says that if you stop giving me any work, I am going to eat you. So this man is now afraid of that thing. And he's okay, go and make the tail of the dog straight. That is the story, you see. Make the tail of the dog. That is the jinn, unconscious jinn that sleep unuttered. Jinns that sleep unused in matters, ignorant trance. See, there are miraculous powers lying there in matter, but they are lying asleep there, you see. Unconscious, bound to service unconscious jinn, they sleep unused. So matter's potentialities have not really come out at all for us, you see. Basically, you see, all was precise, rigid, indisputable. Where are we here? Yeah, all was precise, rigid, indisputable.